My dudes. We have had so many weird, crazy developments in the Berserk community. It's my cat. This has truly been an absolutely crazy year for the Berserk community. So many things have happened that we never would have expected in a million years. And honestly, it's probably going to go down in history as like one of the most memorable years of being a Berserk fan of all time, man. And I am here for it. Now, there is something that I want to talk about just to kind of clear things up because I do see a lot of confusion online right now, and I'm going to share my 2 cents. So I'm going to talk about that first, and then I'm going to talk about my confusion. Okay, so if some of you guys don't know, the official first episode of the Berserk Memoriam edition has dropped, and it is streaming on Crunchyroll. So I don't know where else it's streaming, if it is anywhere else, but I know for a fact 100% that it is streaming on Crunchyroll because I just literally watched it just now. So that is there. It is available. The first episode is out. It is only the first episode, and I assume that they will be dropping episodes weekly. So just treat it like a normal, regular anime season. You're going to get episodes weekly. But I did see some confusion on the Berserk Memoriam edition. So just to go over it real quick before we get into the other thing, the Berserk Memoriam edition, what it is a cut up re-edit of the Berserk Golden Age trilogy movies that came out in 2012. In 2012, there was the retelling of the Golden Age arc, which came out in 3 parts. Part 1, Egg of the King, 2, Battle of Doldry, and 3, The Advent, and they have been out for a decade. All right, so the Memoriam edition, 10 years later, is the same exact anime, except they are taking it out of movie format, and they are cutting it up and editing it into episodes with the addition of adding some new scenes along the way. So some people were confused that if this was a brand new anime or if this was like a season 3 of the 2016, no, none of that is true. What is true is that it's a Memoriam edition, Memoriam to something that has already existed. So it's the Golden Age movies just redone and touched up a lot, actually. So the first episode itself, I just watched it, goes from the beginning of the first movie up until Guts' fight with Griffith, where he officially joins the Band of the Hawk, and Griffith gives him that look, and he's like, listen, I'm not into dudes. Are you into dudes? And Griffith, notably, never actually gives him a solid answer on that. And there are no new scenes in the first episode, at least not really. I felt like there was a couple of prolonged shots, especially during the opening sequence with the opening credits with the kind of attack on the compound that happens. I don't know, maybe it's just been a while since I've watched the movies, but I feel like a little bit of the shots were extended a couple of seconds longer. Maybe they were edited out for movie time before and they just added like a few little extra beats. I could be mistaken on that, but I felt like there was a couple of seconds of new stuff, but nothing really to really talk about. But I do feel like the animation was touched up. I think the CGI looked a little bit better. There's very little CGI in the Berserk 2012 movies, but in the first one in particular, a lot of the background characters, a lot of the secondary characters are CGI, which is still here, but it looks a little bit better than before. Also, the colors seem like they're touched up a little bit better. It's a little bit brighter, a little bit more vibrant, which, depending on how you feel about that, maybe some people feel like Berserk should be kind of like grittier, darker, kind of washed out, but the colors are a little bit more vibrant. It didn't bother me, but more or less it's the same thing, and I knew we were getting the same thing, and that's why I was deciding not to do like a series of videos reviewing every single episode, because I've already watched this, you know what I mean? I'll review the new scenes and I'll talk about new stuff as it comes out, but there wasn't really anything to kind of go over as far as like the story or the way it was put together. You know, it's still unfortunate that they didn't add in anything about Guts' childhood or what happened with Gambino and everything. I would have really enjoyed to see something like that. They still just had the little nightmare sequence before he wakes up with Casca, so I was hoping that maybe we would get a little bit more of Guts' childhood, and maybe we will. Maybe we will. I don't know. But if you were putting it in chronological order of when it would happen in the story, it probably should have started with that, but we didn't get that. So we might only be getting like 1 or 2 new scenes when everything is all said and done. So I wouldn't get my hopes up for a lot of stuff. I'm not getting my hopes up for Wild. I'm not getting my hopes up for the Wounds chapters. So we just have to kind of live with what we got. But with what we get, look, I was always a fan of these movies. It's how I got introduced to Berserk, so I have a soft spot for them, so I'm going to enjoy the kind of rewatch as the episodes come out. So I don't have any problem with that. The real thing to talk about is whatever this is. So along with the premiere of the Memoriam edition of the Berserk 2012 movies, we also have on the official website. If you go to the official website, which I will link down below in the description, of course, if you go there, the first thing that you see is a giant image of the Beylit along with this countdown timer that was released today with literally, as of the recording of this video, no explanation whatsoever as to what this countdown is for. All we see is the Beylit. It's translating to another thing, but I wouldn't trust that because this is the Google Translate on the Japanese website, so I wouldn't necessarily trust the translation. And 69, nice, 69 days, 20, well, God, now it's like freaking out on me. I don't know, but let's see. Can we go back to where it was? There we go. Yeah, 20 hours, 54 minutes, and 16 seconds counting down right now. Nobody knows what this countdown is for, as far as I can see. I checked real quick. I checked the, Twitter. I checked the Reddit. I checked the, the Discords, and everybody seems to be unanimously unaware of what this is. There's no official announcement as to what it is either. Now, I don't want us to get our hopes up immediately and think that this countdown means that when it finishes, it's going to be the announcement of a new Berserk anime or a season 2 to go along with the Memoriam Edition. If you count Memoriam Edition as season 1, then season 2, Black Swordsman arc, into Lost Children chapters. I don't want to get us our hopes up for something like that because that might not necessarily be the case. If you follow this timer down to when this will actually be, this will be December 11th. And if you count every single episode coming out, now it's supposed to come out on Sundays because of the time difference. If you're in the US like me, it's technically Saturday, but it's Sunday in Japan. So that's, when the release date was supposed to be dropped. So it will eventually finish counting down on December 11th, which is a Sunday, which would be a drop of one of the episodes, assumingly. Now, if you follow that through, I believe that means it would be 11 episodes total. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 11 episodes. And if you think about the runtime of the 3 movies, if you were dividing that up into 20-minute segments, adding a couple of new scenes, 11 episodes sounds about right. That sounds about where we would be. So I'm assuming this is likely a countdown to either the end of the anime or, with the Beylit in the background, this could just be a countdown literally to the eclipse itself. We could just be like some kind of tragic, dark humor that the creators decided to have here to put a countdown, and then the second that it reaches 0, all of a sudden the Beylit activates and we're transported into a fucking astral hell dimension. So it could literally just be the countdown to the eclipse. But I really don't know where I stand on it, man. I think that it's definitely a countdown leading towards a particular episode, and it could be the finale, like the season finale of what they're doing with it, and that could be like a brand new episode that could potentially lead into a season 2. I don't know if it would be the announcement of one, because I would think that they would have to see how well this does, how well this performs before announcing it. However, Berserk is on a bit of a high right now. I mean, we have the new chapters coming back. We have the return of Berserk. We know it's heading towards its finale in the manga. We got the Memoriam Edition out. Everybody seems to be on board. The fandom seems bigger than ever. So I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility that it could be an announcement to a new anime. But I don't want to get our hopes up about it because I've gotten my hopes about plenty of things like this before. And that's not what it came down to. Remember that one time there was the episode... there was the website that had... like all the new manga panels and stuff like that, and it said coming soon. And what it was referring to was the art exhibit in Japan, and everyone thought it was a new anime. Super cool art exhibit. Wish I could have got a chance to go to it. But beyond that, see the giant... I just want to give the giant Zod a big motherfucking hug. Motherfucking hug for motherfucking Zod. He needs one, man. I feel like he needs one. He might stink, but I would do it anyway. But I'm just as lost as you guys. I don't know what this could mean. It could potentially be a countdown to the eclipse. It could be the countdown to an announcement of an anime season 2 of the Memoriam Edition, or it could literally be a countdown to something similar that we got before. It could be some kind of exhibit, some kind of event, some kind of something to honor Kentaro Miura and his legacy, something, something to give back to him as a creator, even in his passing. It could be something like that. So there's a lot of potential here. but I think that they enjoy the idea of driving us mad with the mystery of what it could be rather than letting us know. And then the only other thing you can do on the webpage is like you click it and it just goes to the regular page, right? And then there's no new information on here. Even if you translate everything, there's no new information on the actual website itself. So, I don't know, guys. What do you think it is? What do you think it is? What is your speculation? What is your theory? Let me know all that down in the comments below. And have you watched the Memoriam Edition? If you were confused on what the Memoriam Edition was, I hope I cleared it up for you a little bit. Oh, there's also a new end credit theme, which is good, but the animation around it is kind of plain. It's kind of basic. You know, it's no waited so long. Also, real quick before I go, guys, I also want to let you know that I have activated YouTube memberships on the channel. It wasn't something I was going to do for a while because I already have the Patreon, so I didn't see the point of kind of like having both. Like you could just go to the Patreon if you want to support the channel. But I did have some people express a little bit of interest of doing the YouTube memberships, and I thought with it I could come up with some perks, maybe give you guys some exclusive live streams or exclusive videos that only memberships can see. So let me know what kind of perks that you would want, but memberships are open and available. I have it set at $1, $5, and $10. It just works like a subscription thing. It's kind of like Patreon, but just through YouTube itself. So if you want to support the channel that way, I do have memberships turned on just in case that's something that tickles your fanny. Gives you something you might want to do while you wait for the countdown. But beyond that, guys, thank you for watching this video. Do appreciate it. If you have any updates or information on the countdown, please share it in the comments below because I'm at a loss. But I'm definitely excited, and it gives me some motivation to, to stick around through December and make it through the winter for perhaps just a gigantic eclipse where everybody dies.